This is the introduction to the confidential technical briefing on ExoTech. Now, my name is Peter Warren, and I'm the guy who figured out this ExoTech stuff. ExoTech, in fact, is the most important single development in the history of computing since computers began. Now, that's an outrageous statement. Well, ExoTech is a pretty outrageous technology, and it can do a lot of things that other technologies are not within light years of being able to do. And we know this to be true. Arthur C. Clarke said in his third law, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Now, since we have a pretty advanced technology, it stands to reason that it ought to be indistinguishable from magic then, doesn't it? And in fact, our problem in explaining ExoTech to you is very similar to what might occur if, for example, you imagined yourself back in the 1850s. Now, in the 1850s, the latest thing in high-speed public transport was a stagecoach. 4 people, 8 people, 8 miles an hour, 4 horses. Boy, this was the latest and greatest. It had bicycles and horses beat, Now, imagine that in that time, I come along to you and I say, I have something for you. I've invented something. It's kind of like a stagecoach, but it carries actually, instead of 8 people, it carries 80 people. And instead of doing 8 miles an hour, it actually does 80 miles an hour. And the best thing of all, no horses. Well, I think you'd think to yourself, this guy's a little bit crazy, and that is exactly the sort of problem we have. Now, between the bus of today, which will carry 80 people at 80 miles an hour with no horses, at least no horses are running in front of it, and the stagecoach of the 1850s, there are maybe 10,000 inventions and developments, all of which, every single one of which, has to be in place simultaneously, or you have no bus. For example, no gasoline, no bus. No batteries, no bus. No wires, no bus. No rubber, no bus. No this, no bus. No that, no bus. No the other, no bus. So until you have, and unless you have all those 10,000 things in place, you don't have a bus. And for the guy of 1850, who doesn't know anything about any of those things, that's too much for him to be able to imagine, and consequently, the idea of a bus seems to him to be totally and completely unreal. Now, in computing, between the computer, what you know a computer will do here today, and what we say a computer will do, you can get it to do pretty well what a person can do. There is also thousands of things in between about which you don't know anything. And consequently, when we say a computer can do this, it sounds completely nuts. Now, the way we approach this is there's a technology called evaluation. And in evaluation, what you do, you set an ideal scene of what you imagine or what you want to bring about. And then you set an existing scene that you compare to it. So the ideal scene in our case was computers doing pretty well what people can do. And the existing scene is what computers do today. And then you look for the major departures from this ideal scene to the existing one, and you fix each one of them. Now, mostly when you do an evaluation, you found 2, 3, 4, 5 situations. In this case, we were astounded to find over 260. And every one of these situations was a showstopper. So you don't fix situation number 47, no computer that behaves the way a human does. You don't fix situation number 94, number 78, number 39, number 29, number 27. In all cases, you don't have a computer that does what people can do. And it's quite clear that in the past, people have found one situation or two, they fix 3, they fix 4, they fix 5, but it's not good enough. You have to fix them all or you don't have anything. And what this confidential technical briefing is is we've taken about 20 of these things and strung them together into a story which makes some sort of sense, which brings you eventually to the conclusion that maybe what this guy is talking about is actually possible. So that's why we urge you to do the confidential technical briefing. So your next step is to do the confidential technical briefing part 1 itself. Most people find this mind-blowing, truly fascinating, and quite a lot of people comment that it actually changes the way they think. You're going to find out the secrets of using language in a computer. You're going to find out how a computer can be created that can be comprehensively controlled with normal everyday language. That means you can control everything in it. You're going to be embarking on an absolutely fascinating journey into how people think and how they handle data and how they handle activities, which is nothing like anything you've ever seen before. I hope you'll have a lot of fun.